Hello, Kardec Radio. We are live streaming from the Seattle area on March 24th, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific, all time zones in between, and around the world. We want to welcome everybody to our program tonight. This will be our last program of March, and I will not be on the program in probably April. Be going to Brazil. I'll have to figure out how to organize everything, get everything set up, and I'll probably be taking a little bit of vacation too. So I just want to let everybody know April will probably be pretty sparse, if at all. So why are we here? We're here to talk about Spiritism, my wonderful favorite subject here, and this is where it all starts, the Spirits book. Allan Kardec codified information from spirits in the 1850s and brought to us the third revelation. I cannot impress upon everyone to find the Spirits book. You can find it on PDF. You can find it on my website, my blog site, nwspiritism.com. And you can click on Allan Kardec's picture and it will take you to the EDI CEI bookstore. So this is the end of, I've had a series of shows talking about my book, How to Live. Oh, good evening, soul. How to Live Inner Peace Through Spiritism. And we are at the last chapters. Now, last week on Sunday, we talked about the first 12 stanzas of the poem Inner Peace and how I went through each chapter. And then what I'm doing now in these from last Sunday and today is just doing a summary of each one and what we've talked about. What does it mean? Now, the whole book, How to Live Inner Peace Through Spiritism, is explaining this each short stanza and what does it mean and how do we achieve it. Very exciting. And before I start, please go to my blog site, nwspiritism.com. There's a link to my YouTube channel. Click on that, or the BitChute channel, and subscribe. Tell your friends about it. You can get all these videos. All these videos I make from live streaming on Kardec Radio Facebook page. Also, please share this live video to other Facebook pages that you are interested in, other people are interested in, or are your own. But tell over your friends, go to my YouTube site. I have many videos, every video on how to live, all my other books, talking about near-death experiences. I have a whole section of Spiritism Explored and Explained, where I just talk about different aspects of Spiritism, short aspects, short commentaries, 4 to 5, 6, 7 minutes, sometimes a little bit longer, shorter, what different aspects of Spiritism means to me and should mean to you, if you so choose. So let's get back to where we were on How to Live Inner Peace Through Spiritism. And of course, you can find this book you can find it on Amazon.com. Look up, there's a link to that from my site on nwspiritism.com. So what we did last Sunday, we talked about the first 12 stanzas of the poem Inner Peace. And one of the poem started like this: keep always trust in God and in yourself, a serene conscience, time spent on productive matters. And as I'm reading this poem, see how it builds up. You have to have kind of the foundation, and then you're building more and more of the building, and then you're putting things into the building. So I'll start over again. Trust in God and yourself, very important. A serene conscience, time spent on productive matters, a constructive speech, a prayer allied to work, hope in action, an industrious patience, a dispassionate opinion, the blessing of comprehension, the participation in everyone's progress, a compassionate attitude, and truth enlightened by love, which was the 12th. Now, let's go on to the rest. The next stanza. So, as you notice, as these things become a bit more difficult and they grow, it's a step by step, and they grow upon each other. You don't necessarily have to have everything perfect. Of course, I don't. None of them are perfect, but you just needed some aspects of the previous one to really understand and grow in the next stanza. You're not necessarily perfectly at all, as I said before, but it helps. So, oblivion of evils. So when Andrew Louis wrote oblivion of evils. He didn't mean to set out to wage war on which each of us considered wicked in this world. It was a call to change our attitude, not to wipe out half the planet, to expand our field of vision, and to not paste labels on temporary stages of growth. It was a request to consider the entire story in the context of immortal life and growth. Yes, wrongdoers must be cautioned and imprisoned at times. Nevertheless, constant attempts to teach and guide them are part of our responsibility on Earth. After all, we are members of this student body, of this campus called Earth, and we are part of the process of enlightenment for those around us. Spirits tell us that evil is nothing more than the absence of good. The inability of people to discern the correct act versus the wrongful act. Reincarnation is the mechanism to repair this lack of judgment. We have been there. We have all had lack of judgment. We still have lack of judgment. And we have been what many consider very bad people, I'm sure, in the past. I'm sure there's exceptions, but I know I have not been a good person. Therefore, throughout many lives, we soon learn the repercussions of our thoughtless deeds. Hence, the more we can facilitate the education of ourselves and the entire human race, the faster we may move from a world of atonement, where we are now, to a planet of regeneration. A planet of regeneration where evil and ignorance of civilized behavior is greatly diminished. Wouldn't we all love to live in a place where we're not worried about someone hacking into our computer, sending us sending us emails that steal all of our information, that we're cheated on the street corner, someone pickpockets or someone steals our car or whatever? Wouldn't that be a great, just that, if we just got rid of that and lived in the way we live now, it would still be wonderful. But a planet of regeneration will even be better than that, right? You'll have people, you'll have politicians who are there because they want to help, not because they want to promote themselves and keep people voting for them to have power and money and wealth. It will be a wonderful thing, but in order for that to happen, we have to start, first of all, getting a majority of citizens to really believe in the golden rule, right? They don't have to necessarily believe in Spiritism. They have to believe in the fact that treat everyone as you want to be treated yourself, and that they should need to learn to listen to their conscience. And one of the aspects of Spiritism that helps people learn to live with their conscience and promote their conscience is the fact of karma, right? Karma is real. Karma, reincarnation is real. And this is what Spiritism says they will bring. They won't replace the religions on earth. It's a doctrine. What they'll do is they'll show people that these are correct and that other religions will adopt the main tenets of karma, reincarnation, etc. And plus, Spiritism brings us a lot of information about the spirit world, why we're here to educate and repair, get rid of our blemishes and replace our blemishes with civilized behavior, get rid of the primitive behaviors. So what's the next one? Happiness in your commitments. So on our personal journey through the eradication of evil and ignorance in our lives, we should be joyful. I know that's hard, right? It's hard to be joyful because there's stress. As Socrates said, there's thousands of myriads of stressful feelings going through you all the time. And heaven forbid if we can even meditate for 10 or 15 minutes. Some people can meditate for hours. I can't do that. I mean, God bless them. It's amazingly difficult to clear your mind, right? Because you have so many worries and desires and preoccupations, everything. But that way we should be joyful because we're on the road. We're not arriving yet, but we're on the road. And think of this, we're on the path to a beautiful castle, high on top of the mountain. And the climb is arduous, right? But the destination is divine. And once we reach the summit, sustenance, rewards, knowledge, friendship, love, and indescribable vistas await. Each step we take, each trial that we survive and thrive is one more small victory on our path toward the top. Every time we take a lesson to heart, our or to help another see their life through a new prism of forgiveness and advancement, we inch closer to our goal. Why not be happy? Does making your hike with a bad attitude prove any benefit, right? Does it help you? We've all been on vacation with someone's like a downer, and it's like, why are you on vacation then? Why are you negative about everything? You're here to experience new things, not to complain about everything you see. We're the same, right? Let's not complain about everything we see. Let's just go through it and do the best we can. So being negative doesn't provide any benefit. It only lessens the value of the progress and hinders all around you. A dour attitude only creates a veil between you and the world. The selfishness and personal hurt that always accompanies a negative state emotion only dulls the senses and inhibits discovery. Therefore, as you work and learn, do so openly and with welcoming arms. I know this is easy for me to say and harder in practice, but you can improve little by little because the lessons offered to you will be more effective and life-changing. What's the next stanza? Unconditional forgiveness. Oh, this is so important. This is really the state I believe that is vital for everyone, and extremely difficult given our culture and the way we grow up and just everybody around us. Achieving this state entails ripping apart every preconception, cultural points of view, and societal pressure imaginable. This certainly doesn't mean one has to promote bad behavior or not let the legal system punish abhorrent acts. Only that any rancor one may have had toward people, groups, political parties, and governments be cast off. To achieve this plateau, one must step aside oneself and see one's body as an actor in a scripted play. Think of this. Characters will enter from stage right and stage left. Scenes will progress. Acts will complete. Secondary parts will walk on, provide a clue or continuity for the next act. There will be periods of actions and times of dialogue. Ask yourself about any of the actors in this drama. Are the actors evil or mean? Or is it a part they are playing is evil or mean? In fact, a character may start out as a scoundrel, but later emerge as an honest and caring person. All have an arc to their story. Each art is performing a part, and each role is vital to the entire play. Absence of one role or missing a line may cause the story to wander off the original plot. When the performance is completed, when everyone meets at the bar afterwards, enemies in the play are friends, for they knew they each acted according to the script and each tried to give the best performance they could. This is how we should see ourselves on earth. When someone does something horrible to us, it was meant to be. We should not hate the actor, but think about their performance and what it means to the main character, which is ourselves. We're all the main character in our own play. Whatever was done was meant to move the star of the show forward from one state to the next state. There was a reason behind everything. Don't take what happens to you personally. It's so easy for me to say, I know, so difficult to do, but it is all happening to the spirit, the actor, trapped in the physical body. Remember, you are spirit, paraspirit, physical body. That physical body is just one part. Analyze and think of that physical body as the character in the play. Analyze what is happening to the character and think about how the character could improve and grow. Once the play is done, you will remove the heavy and confining costume, your body, and fly free in the spirit universe. What's the next stanza? A devotion to study. To analyze your actions and responses to the lessons provided you and the deeds of others around you, you need to study. You need to learn. There is a lot of work. We're not here on earth just to accumulate as much as we can, rest, go into our pleasures, and just be completely selfish. No, we're here for a purpose. We are here. The spirit world, God, made this physical existence. Oh, Boa noite, Cristiano. Made this physical existence. Why? Why can't we learn in the spirit world? Well, because in the spirit world, there's no time, right? You are what you think. Because think of it. Oh, Brazil, think of it. In the spirit world, we're all created equal, right? We actually are created equal. We actually all have the same capacity to be geniuses or not so geniuses or whatever. Oh, thank you. Thank you. To be geniuses, whatever. Musicians, whatever we have. To know math like you can't believe. We all have that capacity. It's how each spirit wants to do. Now, on the physical world, we know we say all men are created equal, but that's equal under the law. It's equal under justice. So again, so why are we here? We're in this chaotic environment because it's an objective environment. You cannot change the rules. In the spirit world, you can change the rules. And if you are reticent and you don't really want to be honest with other people, you can go where, with the law of affinity, go where other people are who are like you. You don't have to grow necessarily. You may, hopefully you learn not to like those people and you can grow. You still have the ability to grow in the spirit world. But in the physical world, it's all stark. It hits you like a lead balloon. It hits you like a rock thrown at you and bloodies your forehead. You cannot miss it. That lesson is right in front of you all the time. The physical world was created for us to learn. Now, why do I know that for sure? Because the higher spirits, they don't have to be reincarnated anymore. They are beyond that. They are perfect spirits. They only come back on missions for something important. We're here under this white heat of, this kiln that the high spirits call it, or the, learning through pain, unfortunately. We're here to get rid of our primitive emotions. So this devotion to study, right? Every stanza, every word in the previous lines of the poem, Inner Peace, leads to this juncture. Only by preparation is one ready to begin the task, to explore an important topic. And this topic is the most imperative in your life. It is the reason you are on earth. As I said before, to understand the messages from high spirits, you should put yourself in a state free from ego, negative emotions, and stress. Next, you need to rearrange your feelings to acknowledge the presence of superior beings in your life and the part they play. You should emphasize the positive attributes you possess. Most important of all is to launch the journey with as clean as conscience as one can imagine. I cannot stress that enough. And once you get a clean conscience, as I said before, actually on the second stanza, a serene conscience, right? Cast off the past misdeeds. Let them be forgotten. They were but required lessons. Completed, less than perfect. But now move forward with your conscience as your guide and governor. Remove all the stress, which is accompanied by a clear conscience, and complete an unconditional forgiveness for all. And look at your life from the peak of a mountain. Peer down and see yourself on that rocky trail. Now you're ready to study. Now, each word from your guardian angel or high spirits, if you're reading Spiritist books or meditation, will resonate with you. You shall find the true meaning of each sentence and how it affects you. What's next? A gesture of kindness. The rest of the poem is really a guide of how to behave after you've embarked on your personal journey of enlightenment. As you study and learn, you will naturally begin to reshape your outer personality. This will occur because your inner self shall be altered. The negative vibrations will be replaced with positive harmony. You will begin to radiate light instead of darkness. Those around you will feel it and respond accordingly. None of this, I guarantee you, will happen rapidly. It takes years. When you go to the gym, you go, oh, I've had a workout. Look at these muscles. I've had a workout for almost 30 minutes. Do you see results in one day? No, it takes months, years sometimes, right? To shape your body, your physical stuff as you want. It takes even longer to reshape the wiring in your brain and to really mold your character, your personality, as spirits call it. And I've seen they use this word personality in books from the Reverend G. Val Owen to Chico Xavier. is really, that's what we are. And as a spirit, we're this logical group, this personality, right? That's really what we are, because we're all thought. So, but the change will occur. And as you strive, your spirit mentors are there with you, reinforcing good behavior, just like a teacher rewards hardworking students. As you act with kindness towards yourself, you begin to show it to others. Being calm, correct, and caring towards everyone around you starts to become a habit. It is as if you were transported back into the days of polite society, where men and women were consciously gracious and good manners were always in the forefront. This is a welcoming state. And if you sit back and you feel you are in it, then you have achieved a great victory. The next stanza is an encouraging smile. Now, with kindness comes the outward appearance of compassion. With love and compassion offering a pleasant face, with a smile becomes the rule, not the exception. Walk down any street and greet oncoming people with a smile and a hi, and see what you receive in turn. Mostly, I greet those that pass by me with a smile or a friendly nod, and I get nothing in return, or I receive a quick glance. Seldom have I seen a smile. That's all understandable. People are seemingly forced by circumstances beyond their control. I know, I've been there too, to scramble their entire lives. After college, they have debt and must get a job to live and pay back what they borrowed. Society then moves them along where they must buy the latest fashion or gimmick to keep up with their friends and maintain appearances. The mountain of obligations overwhelm them, and in response, they work harder and longer hours or an additional job to cover expenses. Married couples agonize over the cost of a child, and if they had the good graces to have additional children, the burden is even heavier. There is nothing but work, sleep, with a few weeks of vacation in between. Now, I know I'm exaggerating a bit, but that's the realism of our modern society. Our materialistic society is dedicated to create a system to keep people buying at all cost, at the cost of their own family life, at the cost of raising children, at a cost to try and forget other family members that may need help or other people that may need help. It's dedicated to the religion of consume, right? And to consume, we have to work. Downtime is discouraged because that means people are not fueling the system with coin. All of this causes stress. The time to relax and show kindness or even return a smile never seems to arrive. So one must fight this with all their might and remove themselves from a pure materialistic existence and seek a balance. I'm not telling you to sell everything and go live in a cave, right? We just need a balance. And when the time is found to begin the path of inner peace, any lack of possessions become completely irrelevant. High spirits tell us that denying ourselves is like pruning a tree. The more branches are trimmed back, the stronger it grows. And as our roots grab hold of reality, we become anchored to the true life on earth, and we are able to live free of frivolous encumbrances. We are free to smile upon everyone and everything and to feel the sun shining upon us with its warmth. So what's next? So I need some water. Spontaneity to assist others. Now, if we start having this nice conscience and we have encouraged to smile and we want to be kind to everyone, and as we study, right, as we've talked before, we start being more aware, right? And as we let the sun shine into our hearts and reflect it back on our fellow travelers, because remember, thoughts go out. There's feedback loops. Your thoughts go out, they come back to you eventually. Other people around you, they come back to you. They affect you. You've all seen crowd psychology. So as it reflects back on our fellow travelers, the sunshine in our hearts, the brightness in our aura, we become open to slow down our daily lives and lend a hand once in a while. Once the overall rush of unrelenting propaganda is shut down, for you have now consciously filtered it down to the essentials, one has the freedom to think of other things besides how to keep the world afloat, right? How do you keep afloat in this world, I should say? And believe me, what I've done is I don't watch commercial TV anymore, right? I'll watch, maybe Netflix what I want, people watch Amazon Prime. They watch what they want to watch. And if I see a movie with sometimes I'll watch maybe a violent movie, but I watch it less and less now. I don't really want that to affect me. I want to watch nice things, educational things, or heartrending, stories, right? It's something that's worth your while. And it that just helps your inner harmony. And it just helps you to relax more. And so this decreases your stress. And when you decrease your stress, it triggers a myriad of benefits. Besides being healthier, you really are more alert because you're not focusing on something that's like, a dark cloud. You're more ready for unexpected circumstances. This is where building a habit in kindness and smiling leads into dual connections. When your heart and emotional state is filled with love, and you radiate warm thoughts to those you meet and appear friendly to strangers, this aura surrounds you. A glow, a haven exists within and outside of your space. This invisible state attracts those who are in need. They feel a safe port, quite often because they are encouraged by their guardian angel and therefore gravitate towards you. And as they approach, subconsciously, you are notified of a struggling soul, and your mind focuses your material powers at the person within your view. Hence, this linkage is created. Your guardian spirit may have already inspired you as to what the person requires. Since you are at a higher spiritual state, your selfish side doesn't reject the suggestion out of hand. You actually act upon the outside given to you by a spirit, who is either your guardian angel or a spirit looking after the poor soul in need, and the inside via your own enlightenment inclinations. So this is a positive feedback loop. As the more, and you've seen this, people who are religious and joyful, not the people who are religious and then point to others and say, no, you're going to go to hell if you don't do what I say. But you've seen the people who love God, no matter what religions they are, even if they're atheists. There's people that are just wonderful to be with. It doesn't make any difference, right? Because Spiritism says it's not what religion or how you're baptized or what you wear or what you eat that you come into heaven. It's you, right? It's your lack of selfishness. It's your honesty. It's your, the amount of charity, fraternity, love that you have. That's what's important. That's why we're on earth, not to become, a member of some group. So this is why this is so important. Now, what's next? A simplicity of habits. Now, the winding downs of pretentious affectations, occurs naturally as you become more genuine. You get rid of this facade, right? Because as you grow, your facade is a wonderful thing, right? You're happy, you're nice to people. You don't have to be fake to make people think you're nice. You are nice. Time spent on pure selfishness dwindles away as you focus on your moral needs and the needs of others. For instance, my wife and I went through a phase of enjoying wine, right? We sampled different types and had a pleasant time of wine tasting. It was fun. Thankfully, I found that after I graduated to about a $20 bottle of wine, I couldn't taste the difference of anything more expensive. Lucky me. We could buy what we please and stockpile some vintages we liked. This became a pastime, a diversion we could pursue on the weekends. But once we discovered Spiritism and became engrossed in studying about the spirit realm and our place within it, we abandoned the hobby of discovering, purchasing, and storing wine. It became unimportant. Just like, you just left it, right? Just like a little kid leaves one sport after another. Just, okay, I tried that, gone. It became an afterthought. Now, if we feel like a bottle of wine when we go to the store, we may pick one up and it'll last us over multiple days. And we had simply left that pursuit behind, like a child, as I said before, changes like one toy for another without looking back. This process replicates itself in everything you do. The useless pastimes are slowly discarded. Your daily routine fills up with edifying tasks, replacing the previous time-killing hobbies. Fortifying your spiritual nature defeats the urge towards materialism. You finally realize the true value of an object. It has none in the long term and is only good for its immediate functionality in the short term. Only your immortal spirits retains the value. I cannot tell you how exciting it is when, when we find new Spiritism book, like, when I finally read, oh, hello, Adrian, when I finally read Allan Kardec, The Gospel According to Spiritism, reading the books on Spiritism is so exciting. You learn so much. I reread this all the time. I have a app on my phone. You can just randomly go to different sections and just, you can, the information coming from spirits is not something you can read once and understand. It's like the Bible, right? You can read those words over and over again. And I was always kind of terrible at that because I never really understood the parables. That's why I love the Gospel According to Spiritism, but it really explains. Other people, I'm sure, were smarter than I was, and we're able to figure out all the ins and outs and subtle meanings of the parables. But Spiritism brings them all there for everybody. And that's why it's so exciting when I read the books of Chico Xavier, Divaldo Franco, Reverend G. Bowen. And that's why I wrote my books, right? Because what I did is I took this information. I said, okay, let me write a book about, the spirit world, right? And then the path, the path to perfection. And then I wrote a book, Explore Your Destiny. Then I wrote a book, all the information I found about reincarnation. What's all the process of reincarnation, how it works, etc. I wrote that, A Case for Reincarnation. And then I wrote about my own self, of how I started finding the signals and signs for me to really start listening to the spirit world, which is the 7 tenets of Spiritism, how they affect your daily life. So all of these books, and then of course my what I think are my most important 3 books are what I categorize from the Reverend G. Bowen, from his book Beyond the Veil, and some other books he wrote, and exactly what is heaven? What's it like? How is the spirit world created? How does the spirit world guide us? There was so much information. It's just reading that. It's just like, it's amazing when I read those books, and that's why I wanted to bring them to you. And you can find my books on the right-hand side of my site, NW Spiritism, and they're available in Kindle, paperback, or Kindle, of course. And if you want to get into Spiritism, just to understand a little bit, I have Spiritism 101, the Third Revelation. You can get that in paperback or Kindle. You can also go to the Facebook site, Spiritism and the Spirit World Around Us. There's a link to that from my blog. And I have it in the file section. You can download it as a PDF. So it's there. And it's only 99 cents on Kindle. But it's just so exciting because I don't know about you, but for me, I'd always ask these questions, in high school. Why are we here? Why do we have to go through this? Are we, am I going to die and I'm just dust? No, we are immortal spirits. We go on. Our character, our personality is intact. Hopefully we improve after each life. Now, let's go on. The next stanza is a spirit of renovation. Now, as your habits evolve, you turn inward to the task of self-improvement. You become conscious of the urge to remake yourself. As your will becomes reinforced with certainty, faith in yourself, the spirit realm, and your predetermined educational tasks during this lifetime, you begin to actually see that you are not a physical body who was born and is destined to decompose back into the earth. You are, in fact, a work in progress and will be for an eternity. One life is nothing. If you could improve just one single aspect of your character to perfection each life, you would ascend it at a rapid pace. And most of us spend countless lives parked at a level and repeat the same mistakes over and over again. I know I have. I've been told I have. Only with great suffering are we pushed out of our habits and make drastic changes. Think how we could soar to the heights of heaven once we actually plan to progress. And progress in life after life isn't like one of this, these straight sloping lines. It's more like you go through life. It's more like this, and then once you start, then you really start. Then that hockey stick goes up. So, following the advice of the poem will set the environment, a launching pad for dramatic ascension. Spiritual growth isn't, as I said before, it's not along an upward sloping line. But again, it's that radical, once you start, wow, you just start going up. Now, when that light turns on, and you or some other person finally discovers and embraces the truth of our stay on earth, that's where the real progress begins in earnest. Merely attempting to put in practice the spiritual routine prescribed by the Spirit Andre Luis will set the stage for all subsequent incarnations. Blueprints for upcoming lives will be created for an emphasis on educational opportunities instead of dramas designed to effect major character alterations. Everything will be better. I cannot stress this enough. Once you get to that understanding of that you want to improve yourself spiritually, you will be given the opportunity to do that. But the opportunity will come in a much smoother life, right? I'm still sure there'll be, and you'll probably ask for periods of great, of drama, maybe because you've identified something you want to repair. But overall, things will much be better. The future will be bright for those determined to walk a new path. After all, Spirit is like a teacher who sees a student who's struggling, doesn't know the stuff perfectly, but doesn't that teacher want to help that student? Doesn't that teacher then, okay, this kid's got a great attitude. I'm going to help them all I can. I want him or her to be successful, exactly what they want for us. So when you want that new path, it still could be strewn with obstacles, but one that will forever transform one character and personality. There is no greater treasure that we can take back with us after physical life than an improved sense of living and loving our fellow humans. Now, what's next? Fostering of tolerance. Now, once you determine that our bodies on earth are mere temporary receptacles to place our spirits into so we may survive and learn the lessons assigned to us, then we understand that any race, creed, and social strata that we come into the world is but an entry point for the particular curriculum that has been chosen for our benefit. Yep, you're going to classroom 438 and you're going to take beginning geology. You over there, you're going to go to classroom 910 and you're going to take, math, right? So it's just, okay, whatever's going to benefit that student into each, tailor-made curriculum. So human bodies are like the vehicles that hold the thrill seekers at the rides in Disneyland. For instance, in Mr. Toad's Wild Ride, one of my favorites since I was young, because I grew up right next to Disneyland, 2 or 3 people step into a modified representation of an early 1900s car. They experience the ride, the lights, the sounds, the moments of distractions, then they depart the ride. The color of the old-fashioned car is unimportant. What is vital is you went through the ride. During the excursion, time seemed to move slowly, since your senses were bombarded with new stimuli. But when you exited the car, you realized the journey was only a few minutes in duration. This is what your physical life will seem like after you leave your dense body, the vehicle for your short ride on earth behind. Spiritism tells us that all spirits are created equally and all will achieve perfection. In the spirit world, we fashion our outward appearance to suit our desires. I have read of many variations of size, color, and appearance of spirits. Many spirits come from other planets and only spend a relatively short time in a human body. Then they return to the preferred shape after their excursion on Earth. Hence, as spirits, we determine our own image. It is usually a reflection of the state of our spirituality, mind, will, thoughts, and desires. Therefore, to judge any exterior qualities of the dense human suit we are assigned is a waste of time. There are stories from spiritualist literature of Roman generals becoming slaves in their next life, and slaves becoming people of great spiritual wisdom in their subsequent existence. Kings and queens who were once mighty and powerful find themselves disfigured, poor, and sickly in their next life, each according to their deeds. That's karma, right? So what's next? Courage to place yourself second to serving. Now, every line of the poem written by the Spirit Andre Luis, as I said before, builds one upon another, and all is targeted towards our internal reformation. One can only tear down one's inner ego by setting aside one's pride and objectively examining one's character. Selfishness and pride are hard traits to let go of. I know, I still hang on to both. I try not to, but it's difficult. When I least expect it, my pride emerges like a dormant volcano. Suddenly I feel defensive about some comments made or not made. Our self-importance invades every part of our body. Finding each trace will take time and effort. Nevertheless, each small victory remains with us for eternity. Now, while the accumulation of houses, boats, jewelry, stock, and bonds are but transitory, lasting an infinitesimal amount of time compared to the life spent in the universe, the acquiring of the capacity of love, humbleness, kindness, compassion, faith, intellectual curiosity are attributes which will follow you forever. They are the true treasure. Like the university degree or the acquiring of a skill is a trait that can never be lost. Superiority in the spiritual level is the inverse of reaching the commanding height of earthly power. As humans rise, they become more and more used to services by others, to legions of staff to do their bidding. They feel they deserve the acquiescence of those they rule. They begin to think they are in control because they're innately better than their fellow beings. We've all seen this. While in the spirit realm, I've read numerous passages how higher spirits attempt to hide their obvious superiority, because they truly are, right? The brighter you are, the higher level you are. They put themselves out for their lesser brethren and will do for them whatever best will assist them. They never lord it over their inferiors. These bright lights of the universe live the credo, courage to place yourself second to serving. In service, they discover great enjoyment and fulfillment in the knowledge of pulling up their brothers and sisters higher in the hierarchy of heaven. So what's the last one? The last one is perseverance in goodness. So the last line of the poem is an exhortation to remain on course, right? Do not let external factors sway you from your spiritual goal. No matter what befalls you, don't lose heart and dedication to try to do the best for those around you. Goodness doesn't just extend to others, but also to yourself. Remember, do good for yourself. It entails difficulties. One must study, work to reform habits, analyze, plan, and act upon each blemish discovered in one's character. This is much harder than concentrating on being fraternal and charitable. It involves learning basic truths about oneself, about society and culture, and how it affects you. It means that in many circumstances, one must swim against the tide. This is very difficult. To consciously reject the basic tenets of our popular consumerist environment means that old friends will drop away, not out of spite, but because you will no longer desire what they desire. It will occur naturally. Your tastes will slowly divert from theirs. But some past friends will become closer and new ones will appear. Those who detect your basic decency and non-judgmental character. They will see you as a beacon of light and will seek out your advice. For they know, whatever you tell them, it is not said out of self-interest, but out of concern for their future. Therefore, please follow Andre's advice. Persist in spreading warmth, love, and goodness. The ripples of your deeds will eventually find you, and your repayment will be 100-fold whatever you invested. This is what we've been told over and over. So let me conclude here. Spiritism. Spiritism, also called Christian Spiritism, is a doctrine, not a religion. There is, as I said before, there's no dogma to follow without reason. In fact, Spiritism says this: don't follow us, don't just say I'm a spiritist because someone told me to be a spiritist. No, each person has to create that foundation, that trust in God and yourself, right? You've got to create it yourself. You have to rationalize, and with your own proof, right? It may not be the proof that is accepted in a court of law, but your own proof. Either you had a near-death experiences, your uncle did, your mother did, or you had some other experiences, or you had some insight that came out of nowhere, something that will happen to you, or you're just naturally you're smarter than I am. You didn't need some sort of dramatic event, that you just figured it out. And as I've read, like many scientists do, when they look at the numbers, they look at the universe, they go, okay, this has to be created by some intelligence, right? That's what the spirits say. Look, you've got to create that firm foundation, right? So spiritism is not an external cloak one wears, right? You don't put this, hey, I'm a spiritist, sign on your body, or you wear this special, uniform. No, Spiritism really is a tonic for your soul. In its base, it is intellectual with a coating of emotion, right? Spiritism doesn't grab you because of any extravagant promises. Spiritism shines a light on what is possible, but to get there is a trek. It's a hard slog through muddy terrain. I can't tell you how many people come and tell me, I don't know about the spiritism. I've been told that we have unconditional forgiveness for anything we do. And I say, yes, you have forgiveness for whatever you do, but that doesn't mean you're not going to have a lesson. You're not going to be shown how not to do this in the future. It doesn't mean that you're not going, that karma is not real. It's like if you have a 5-year-old that writes on the walls or rushes out into the street, you got to teach that 5-year-old to be civilized, and put them in a corner or and say, no, you can't do that. Right. And you still love your 5-year-old and you forgive your 5-year-old, but you have to educate them. That's what happens to us. Yes, there's unconditional forgiveness. We're always loved, but we have to be civilized, especially when we're going to a world where thought is action. How can we not be forced to be civilized? How can we not be forced to get rid of our primitive emotions? Think about having the power of Jesus Christ, where his thoughts will create whole worlds. Him with a group of high spirits. Would you let anyone like me even be anywhere near that? Where I know I'm still weak and I still think bad things, and like, no, I would never let myself be someone like me be there. So that's why we have to go through this. There is unconditional forgiveness, but that doesn't mean we have to stop being educated. So it is not easy. Spiritism doesn't push you to go out to street corners and announce the third revelation. It merely asks you to be there when people inquire or need help. Spiritism merely lays out why you're here, how you can graduate from this place, and who is guiding this campus of Earth and your personal destiny, which is always meant to educate, never to punish. It's education. Spiritism is like that thick book left on the table. It's been there for years, waiting for you to read it. But when you look at the size of the effort to consume it, you hesitate. Unbeknownst to you, there's a gold coin beneath that book. But once you start and begin to understand the ramifications of its content, your life changes. Everything, every occurrence, every person around you is seen under a different perspective. You begin to understand, to fully comprehend the world around you. For the first time, you realize the injustices of the world are here for a purpose. You see the innocent being downtrodden and the rich taking advantage, and you shake your head in the acknowledgement that all is happening to teach everyone valuable lessons, and everyone is where they at the precise moment they need to be there. That someday, in some life, the rich will trade places with the poor, so each and every soul may be well-rounded and learn to love and to be honest in every circumstance. And as the light peers into your soul, your character transforms. You begin to improve. You live life happier because the small things don't bother you like they did before. The large things don't knock you for a loop like they did before. The waves that used to crash against you and shake you to your foundations become still. And when you find that gold coin under the book, you realize that it stands for your new self, the new me, the reformed ego and id. You know that you have had this only treasure that you can take with you after death, your improved personality, ready to meet your new friends in heaven and start your next adventure in your immortal journey to perfection. So that concludes our talk today. Again, I want to remind everybody, this is all in my book, How to Live. You can get this on Amazon, in Kindle or in paperback. You go to my site, NW Spiritism, click on the book. It will take you to where you can buy the book. Also, again, you can click on Allan Kardec on my blog. It'll take you to the EDICI bookstore with a lot of Spiritist books in English. You can also find Spiritist books on other sites. They're on Amazon.com if you want them through Kindle. But the books actually on the EDICI bookstore are actually cheaper if you want to buy them in paperback than you can get them in Kindle. They make hardly any profit on those books. So it's there. I want everyone to, please, again, tell people, go to my blog, share this live stream, subscribe to my YouTube channel or BitChute channel. And then, just be there for people when you need to. I hope I've helped people. I hope we've reached some, and I really appreciate all the viewers that come and comment and send me. I've had a lot of contact people on the blog, contact me lately and ask me questions, and always do that. I'm always happy to help. I will be a little bit hard to maybe reach. I don't know. It all depends. Hopefully, coming up the next month in April 2019. We'll see what happens, but beyond that, I should be back into the routine, and I'll reschedule our Sunday night meetings again. I might make it a different time, not sure yet, but I will make sure everyone knows on Cardiac Radio Facebook page. Again, tell everybody Cardiac Radio Facebook page. Tell them to join that. There's other people, a lot better people than I am, on there, and they go live. Also, again, all this is on Cardiac Radio. Cardiac Radio is an app you can put on your Apple or your Android phone. You can get Cardiac Radio messages, programs 24 hours a day. And there's some live programs. And if there's not live programs, there's pre-recorded programs from previous programs that you can enjoy. So I want to bless everyone. Thank you. And I will see you in a while. God bless you.